It can scare you for hours when one small thing disappears from your mind. A name, a word, a reason for walking into the room. And in that tiny pause, your heart can go straight to the worst place. You wonder if this is how something serious begins. Sometimes it is not a big mistake that shakes you. It is one simple slip that feels far too heavy. You open a cabinet and stand there staring. You know you came for something. For a few seconds, nothing comes back. You try to laugh it off, but inside, the fear stays. It follows you long after the moment is over. Maybe you lose a word in the middle of a sentence, a very common word, one you have known for years. Maybe someone is waiting for you to finish your thought, and that small silence feels much longer than it is. Maybe you forget why you picked up your phone, or you walk into a room and feel suddenly blank. Maybe you check the calendar twice because you no longer trust one quick glance. Maybe you check the stove twice too. Maybe you look at your pill organizer and feel a flash of panic. Did you already take it or only think about it? Maybe you wake up after a poor night of sleep and your head feels slow. The whole day feels a little harder. Maybe you forget a familiar name for a moment. Not a stranger, someone you know well. That can feel deeply unsettling. Maybe a family member notices your pause. They mean nothing by it, but your chest tightens anyway. You may replay that moment again and again later. Not for 5 minutes, for hours. You may test yourself quietly during the day. What was I about to say? Why did I come here? What day is it? You may start watching your own mind too closely. Every slip feels like evidence. Every mistake feels louder than it should. That is a lonely feeling because the fear is private, even when the moment looks small from the outside. You might smile and keep going, but under that smile, a question keeps pressing on you. Is this normal? Am I just tired? Or is this the start of something I cannot stop? That question can drain the joy out of ordinary moments. Even a simple afternoon can feel tense. Standing in the kitchen can become a test. You open the fridge, then stop, trying to catch the thought you just lost. At the grocery store, you may pause in one aisle longer than usual. You know what you need, but the list in your head slips. You may look at familiar faces and old photos and feel relief when every name still comes, then fear when one takes longer. You may sit in the car before going inside somewhere, repeating what you came to do, just in case. You may put something in a very safe place, then forget where that safe place was. That one really stings. You may miss a small appointment, then feel ashamed in a way nobody else can fully see. You may repeat a story and notice it halfway through. Your stomach drops before the other person even reacts. You may hear yourself ask the same question twice, and the second time can hurt much more than the first. If that sounds familiar, stay with me for a moment. Take one slow breath and let your shoulders drop. You do not need to prove anything right now. You only need a little honesty with yourself. Quietly ask yourself this: which kind of slip scares you the most? The missing word, the foggy morning, or the blank moment? That answer matters because fear is not always about memory alone. Sometimes it is about what the slip seems to mean. A small mistake can feel huge when your mind is already tired. Fear can make the moment echo louder. And that is important to understand, because not every memory slip tells the same story. Your brain can feel slower for many simple reasons. Poor sleep is one, stress is another. Grief can do it. Pain can do it. Big routine changes can do it. Too much worry can do it too. Even a busy week can leave your thinking feeling cluttered. Your mind does not always fail because something is wrong. Sometimes it is carrying too much. Sometimes it is exhausted. Sometimes it is living under pressure for too long. When you are anxious, you notice every little miss. Then anxiety makes the next miss more likely. That can become a painful loop. You forget one thing, get scared, then feel even less steady afterward. It does not mean you are imagining it. The slip is real. The fear is real too. But fear can make the slip feel bigger, darker, and more final than it truly is. That is why one lost word can ruin an entire morning, not because of the word itself, but because of the story around it. You may tell yourself, here it comes. This is how decline starts. I knew this day would come. That thought can make you silent. You may stop telling family how frightened you feel because you do not want to sound foolish. You may even hide the little mistakes, not because you are dishonest, but because you're scared of what they might hear. That kind of fear can make a person feel very alone, especially at night, especially in the quiet. You may lie awake remembering every small slip from the week. Your mind turns them into one frightening picture. And the next morning you wake up already watching yourself, already bracing for the next mistake. If you know that feeling, pause here again. Notice when the fear gets loudest. Is it after a bad night of sleep? In the middle of stress? When you are alone? When someone is watching? Sometimes that pattern tells you more than the slip itself. Sometimes it points to what is feeding the fear. And now, very gently, I want to tell you something important. One memory slip does not get to write your future. One foggy day does not define your mind. One missing word is not a final answer. You are still here. You are still thinking, noticing, caring, and trying. That matters more than fear wants you to believe. There are habits that can quietly make your brain feel worse. Not ruined, just heavier, foggier, and less steady. And the good news is this: habits can change, slowly, kindly, one step at a time. The first habit is poor sleep. Not one bad night, but the pattern of treating sleep like it does not matter. When sleep gets thin, broken, or late for too long, your thinking can feel slow and patchy the next day. Names hide more easily. Focus slips faster. Small mistakes feel bigger because your brain never got enough rest. If your worst memory days often come after restless nights, that is worth noticing without panic. A gentle step helps here. Keep your evenings quieter. Dim the room. Lower the noise. Let bedtime become more regular. The second habit is constant stress. Not only big stress, but the daily tightness that never fully leaves your body. When your mind stays on alert, memory has a harder time settling. Thoughts pass through too fast to stick. You may rush from one task to the next, then blame your memory when your brain was never given calm space. Pressure can make you feel mentally scattered. Even simple choices can feel harder when your nerves are worn down. A gentle step helps here too. Slow one part of the day on purpose. Drink tea. Sit by a window. Breathe longer. The third habit is moving too little. Hours of sitting can leave both body and mind feeling dull. You do not need hard exercise or anything dramatic, but your brain likes blood flow, fresh air, and regular motion. A short walk can clear mental cobwebs. Light stretching can soften that heavy, stuck feeling in your head. Even walking through your home with purpose can help more than you think. Small movement still counts. A gentle step is enough. 10 minutes after breakfast, 5 minutes in the yard, a slow lap down the hallway. The fourth habit is too much isolation. Long, quiet stretches can make worry louder and thinking feel dimmer. When you go too many days without real conversation, your mind can start folding inward on itself. The silence can make every memory slip feel bigger. There is no balancing voice, only your own fear repeating itself. Warm contact helps the brain more than most people realize. A phone call, a visit, a real exchange. It does not have to be a busy social life. One honest connection can steady you more than hours alone. The fifth habit is trying to hold everything in your head. That creates pressure your mind does not need. You may think using notes means your memory is failing, but often it means you are working wisely, not weakly. Even a healthy brain benefits from support. Lists, calendars, pill boxes, reminder notes, and routines are not signs of defeat. They reduce strain. And when strain drops, memory often feels less shaky because the brain is not juggling so much. A gentle step is simple. Write things down in one place, not 5 places. One trusted notebook can calm a lot. The sixth habit is living in a blur of multitasking, noise, and mental clutter. Too much at once wears you down. If the television is on, the phone is ringing, and you are trying to remember three things, your brain gets crowded. Crowded minds forget more. Not because they are broken, but because they are overfilled in the moment. This matters even more when you are already tired or worried. Noise and hurry can push you over the edge. A gentle step is to do one thing at a time more often, finish one task, then begin the next. Let me say something very clearly. These habits do not mean every memory problem is simple or harmless. If changes keep growing, feel unusual, or begin affecting daily life more often, it is wise to talk to a doctor. That is not overreacting. That is good care. Calm attention is better than silent fear. You do not have to wait until you are terrified. You can ask questions early and still be completely reasonable. And while you are paying attention, try not to judge yourself after every little slip. Instead of saying, something is wrong with me, try saying, what was happening around me when this happened? Were you tired, upset, rushed, in pain, distracted, recovering from a hard week? Those details matter. Tracking patterns can help more than panicking after one moment. A notebook can show you what fear cannot. You may notice that your hardest days follow poor sleep, or long loneliness, or too much stress. That kind of pattern is useful. It gives you something real to work with instead of only dread. Another gentle support is routine. When the same tasks happen in the same order, your brain spends less energy searching. Morning medicine in one place, keys in one bowl, appointments on one calendar, bills on one table. Simple systems can feel almost embarrassingly basic, but basic things often help the most when your mind feels crowded. It also helps to feed your brain kindness, not just information, rest, water, regular meals, quiet breaks, sunlight when possible. You do not have to become perfect. You do not have to rebuild your whole life this week. You only need to make things a little easier for the brain you have right now. That is enough. And please hear this part deeply. You are not foolish because you feel scared. You are not weak because a missing word unsettles you. You are not broken because your mind has slower days. You are a human being who notices change. You care about your life. You care about staying steady. That fear comes from love, not failure. It comes from wanting to remain yourself. There is dignity in that. There is nothing silly about it, nothing to be ashamed of. You can be frightened and still be wise. You can need support and still be strong. You can have a foggy morning and still have a meaningful, capable, beautiful day ahead of you. So the next time you lose a word or forget why you walked into the room, try not to make it a verdict. Let it be a moment, just a moment. Then look gently at what your brain may need. Maybe it needs sleep. Maybe it needs less pressure. Maybe it needs movement, quiet, or a little more support. Maybe it needs a conversation instead of another hour alone with fear. Maybe it needs compassion more than criticism. That softer response can change a lot, not all at once, but enough to help you breathe again. You deserve that kind of gentleness from yourself, especially on the days when your mind feels uncertain. And if this message felt personal, that is because your fear is real and worthy of care. If you want, leave a simple comment and tell me which habit hits you the hardest right now. And if you would like more calm, honest videos like this, you can like and subscribe in your own time. For now, just breathe. You are still you, and one hard moment does not take that away.